Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 309. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Get me hyped, get me hyped, get me hyped.
Happy
it's weekend time.
I was going to say, happy basically weekend, happy Roberto Clemente Day. Just your annual reminder that Roberto Clemente is 21, should be retired league-wide, but that's all I need to say on the matter. I don't feel like I need to explain myself beyond that. It just needs to happen. And I feel like you're in this weird, like, in-between. You don't think so?
I think I'm okay with it just being this. I'm okay with like the 21 on the back of the hats for the award winners. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay keeping it more about like off the field stuff, because that's what like Roberto Clemente means, I think, to the game now more than ever. It's like, it's the off the field philanthropy stuff that players do. And so I like that it can almost be like, it's like an earned title to have that 21 on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something a player is, it's kind of across all sports. Like football has the Walter Payton Award, to where like those are the awards that like the individual accolades that mean so much to players. Just like, we did all this charity stuff, did all this philanthropy stuff, and we were able to help so many lives and affect so many lives in a positive way, that's what got me this award. And if you retire that number and everyone's wearing it, I think it could almost kind of take away from the award side of things. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason I say no. Other than that, I mean, everything about Roberto Clemente is deserving of a retired number. It's just, you know, Jackie Robinson has his day, and we talk about him all the time and what his, you know, adversities that he dealt with, what it did for the game. And so it's almost like a league-wide acknowledgement at that point. Whereas this, it's a specific award attached to Roberto Clemente, and then you have that, you know, that earn the right to have that number on you kind of thing.
No, I mean, valid points. I feel like from a fan perspective, seeing Major League Baseball kind of have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, where it's like every year, it's like they're getting closer. I feel like they're always tweaking how they're going to honor.
It'll probably happen eventually.
Yeah, how they're going to honor Roberto Clemente on Roberto Clemente Day. It's like, well, we're going to do this year. Next year, we're going to do this. It's like, if we're going to get there, just get there.
Yeah, I could see it.
I don't know.
I can see it.
Just wanted to acknowledge Roberto Clemente Day. Didn't need to turn it into a full-on segment because we have a lot to break down about Aaron Judge. And before you turn off the episode, just trust me that we're going to be talking about more than just Aaron Judge here with this segment, because, like I said before we hopped on the podcast, for whatever reason, this week, more than any week in recent memory this season, I feel like the MVP conversation has come to the forefront. And I'm not sure why this week of all weeks.
Yeah.
But I feel like we need to talk about it. We dabbled in it a little bit, but I feel like we need to talk about the conversation about who is deserving of the AL MVP. And with that said, I will turn it over to you, the resident Yankee fan, to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I don't understand why we're still talking about this. And the best player in baseball can't get the MVP every year. That's not what MVP is. In my mind, that's not what it is. I would say most writers probably feel a similar way. Otherwise, Mike Trout had been, the MVP over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. We all acknowledge the fact that he could be the best player on the planet at times. MVP is just, it's a little bit more than that. And look, whatever you want to say about Shohei, I think you and I are both in the same camp. We're tired of it being beaten into us. But we can both acknowledge that what he's doing is special, and it's good for baseball, and it's new, and it's exciting, and it's amazing. But just because he's doing that doesn't mean he's worthy of winning an MVP award this year. I don't see how he has an argument against Judge. I really don't. And Aaron Judge is doing stuff that, like, we haven't seen clean in decades. So everyone that says, oh, Shohei's doing stuff we haven't seen in 100 years, what should we say about Judge then? Is that not enough time? 60 years is not enough time for you to say, wow, this is fairly new for us?
Well, we'll get into the details here shortly, but on the whole Judge matter, or on the whole Ruth matter, I heard something yesterday, or maybe even today, where I guess we ended the day yesterday with Judge at 57 home runs, and the next closest person is Kyle Schwarber at 37. And I think I heard that the last time that we ended a calendar day with somebody 20 home runs ahead of the next closest person was actually Babe Ruth.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
So, and that goes back to your point, is I think you made a number of episodes ago where it's like Babe Ruth isn't just exclusive. Like, this isn't just this Shohei Babe Ruth thing. Like, Babe Ruth, his name is also involved in the Aaron Judge side of the conversation as well. Like, we can't just ignore what Aaron Judge is doing this season just because it's flashy and it's sexy to attach Babe Ruth's name to Shohei.
Right. And that's what I don't think baseball fans need to continue to get trapped into the we haven't seen this since. I don't need to talk about how long it's been for anyone to see what could be 60 home runs. This is an MVP year. In my mind, he already got robbed of MVP in 2017. And you can go back and look at those stats that Altuve had, and I still think Aaron Judge deserved it over Altuve. This is something that's phenomenal. Shohei can still be phenomenal. He can still be arguably the best player on the planet. He can still be the guy you wish you started your franchise with. All those are still fine. Judge is having a better year. He's doing better. What he's doing at the plate is absurd. And I think you watched it this weekend with the Red Sox, and you saw that it's like he just seems like he's tapped in everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Every pitch. Everything.
I literally texted you. It was on, I think it was Glaber. Correct me if I'm wrong. Glaber's Little League home run last night.
Yeah.
Judge makes his way around the bag. He scores, no problem. And you would think a guy of Judge's stature and success that he's had this year, to where he might just be on another planet right now mentally. He's just focused on what he's doing. He was literally there, feet behind home plate, signaling Glaber where to slide. And I'm just like, to the average person, that might not mean anything, but that was the first thing I noticed when I saw the replay, is Judge setting up right behind home plate, telling Glaber where he needs to be on his slide into home. And to me, that speaks volumes. And that's what I texted you. I said, this dude is locked in every aspect of the game right now. And I mean, if we want to look at the WAR conversation, because that seems to be everybody's favorite thing to do now, which I feel like there's more ways to evaluate a conversation, or really just a singular player.
Right.
But if we want to go to the WAR conversation, Aaron Judge right now has a WAR of 9.1. Shohei Ohtani combined doesn't top that. Shohei
Right.
pitching, 4.8. Shohei hitting, 3.3. That's 9.1 to 8.1.
And Judge is doing offensively. I mean, he's worth 2 players. He's an OPS plus of 208. 208. For those who don't know, OPS plus is set at that standard of 100 being an average baseball player. The average major leaguer is at 100. He's at 208. He's leading the league in home runs, obviously, leading the league in runs, RBIs, walks, on-base percentage, slugging, which leads to OPS. He's got 353 total bases. What more do you want? I don't understand. And not to mention, he's playing above average defense out of position in center field. Stop comparing him to Shohei. They're not the same player. They don't have the same game plan. They're not used the same way. But when we're talking value, I mean, I don't even know if they're out of it. But the Yankees went through 2.5 months of absolute miserable baseball. And he got better.
Yeah, I mean, when literally nobody in the lineup was hitting, Judge was seemingly doubling down his efforts at the plate. And you bring up the word value. I feel like that's something worth discussing, something worth talking about, given that it is the most valuable player award. This isn't and we've talked about this ad nauseum, and I wish Major League Baseball would define it better or come up with an alternative award for the most outstanding player. I don't know what they want to do. But how valuable is 32 games back in the division for the Angels? How valuable is that?
Right.
And you can say, well, if Shohei wasn't on the team, they'd be 40 games back. Well, look at Aaron Judge and what he's doing in the Bronx, which is another conversation, where they're doing what they're doing, the cities, the markets that they're doing it in.
That has to be a part of the equation.
If Aaron Judge is, you already mentioned, he's basically worth 2 players right now. If Aaron Judge were not on the Yankees right now, also considering how close this division race has gotten, this season looks entirely different for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Entirely different.
And not to mention, I think there's no one cares about the Angels. No one hates on the Angels. Shohei's love is built in. You know what I'm saying? Who hates the Angels? They're irrelevant. No one cares. So look in the mirror and realize that you're probably just hating on Judge because you hate the Yankees. And tell me how that makes sense. Because we're seeing something that is absurd. Absurd. This guy he fits the bill, dude. He fits the bill of being able to see something you've never seen before. Someone that size, providing the power that you would think he has speed, plays solid defense, has a cannon of an arm. I don't get it. And he's played 73 games in center field compared to 60 in right field. Everyone wanted to attack his durability. Everyone wanted to freak out about how he's not a health guy, right? Can't stay healthy, can't stay limber, got to do more yoga, stop in the weight room. 21 games at DH this year. So 133 games in the field. How's that for you? Going to get over 60 home runs most likely. How's that for you?
It's weird. I feel like the people in talking about how people interpret this race, how they feel about Shohei, how they feel about Judge. I'm not trying to alienate the pro Shohei MVP people here, but there's this weird, like you and I, and a lot of other people that are pro Judge MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Again, coming from a Red Sox fan, that says a lot for me to acknowledge what Judge has been doing this year.
Right.
for us, for the pro judge people, I've noticed that more times than not, there seems to be a look, what Shohei is doing is absolutely incredible. But here's why we believe Judge is the MVP. There's a lot of that going on with the pro judge people. But with Shohei, it's this weird like Shohei's the MVP. And it's not even a question. There's nobody even in the same stratosphere as Shohei. It's like, well, no, that's simply not true.
Right.
And the numbers show that.
And I think that's a case that really annoys me, that what you just said, because people of that argument, it say, well, we don't need to look at stats. We don't need to worry about stats. Stats are irrelevant at this point. And it's like, well, how do you equate value? How do you track value? It's the whole reason we created stats. It's the whole reason why statistically baseball is the most in-depth across all sports. It's because this is how we track value. And we've taken it to another level over the last 5 to 10 years, going even deeper into stats. Those things are becoming more relevant. Not to mention he has 16 stolen bags.
That I did not know.
Might get to 20. Might get to 20. And
no.
If you were curious, Shohei has 11. So, just saying.
With the judge hate that you were talking about, I'm not going to say I disagree with you on that point, but I have noticed a lot less of it than in years past because we're getting to that point of free agency, and a lot of people, whether it be their
love
market,
to have them.
Yeah, their market or their top sports personalities, they're throwing out the idea, hey, what if we went and snagged Judge? Because it's clear Judge is not happy in New York. What if we went out there and snagged him? Mm-hmm. There's a lot less Judge hate going on right now, and it's for that exact point. It's like, well, this could be our guy moving forward. Yeah. So let's tread lightly with the Judge hate. So I've just noticed a lot of that, and it's interesting, and it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's up there in a lot of numbers, and I think when you look at a guy that can do this and hit 310, and it's well known that he has the most balls called strike against him of anyone in the league. He has the biggest zone of anyone in the league. And even, I mean, you can attest to this watching over the last few days. Yes, he's still a strikeout guy. He has 156 strikeouts. I don't think that's just, he's so big. And when you're that big, there's got to be holes, right? I think that's what any pitcher can say. All right, this guy's bigger, so I'm going to be able to find these holes easier. Especially because of that expanded zone that you feel like umpires already create for him. But the guy's tapped in. Like, you know, when he takes a ball and it's called a strike and you're like, he just looks at it and he's like, no, you got that one wrong. And it doesn't take away from the AB. It doesn't alter his game in any way. He stays on top of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably very biased because I watch him every day. But it's something that's being done that's like fascinating to me. And it stands out. And he does everything the right way. You know what I mean? He runs bases the right way. He plays solid defense. And you would love to have him on your team. I don't care who you are. You would love to have him on your team.
Well, we'll talk about that in just a second because it doesn't sound like he's ruling out a possible switch to the Red Sox. But going back to the point with this MVP conversation about the market. Look, I'm torn on this. Do I think that MVP should be chosen based on where a person plays? No. Do I think that it should factor into the conversation? Yes. Mm-hmm. It's like you were saying, it's well documented that playing in the Bronx and a handful of other markets, it's It's a challenge, to put it simply.
It either makes or breaks you. It
look at Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
Joey Gallo was on the verge of probably a mental breakdown, and I'm not making light of that. But you read the interview that they had that he gave. He was just not happy, and he couldn't. He just couldn't hang there. And not everybody can, and that's okay. But the people that do, and that can, that carries some weight.
It's kind of like, to me, how, when you have pitchers that have a phenomenal year in Coors Field. Like, if a Rockies pitcher has a good year, you're like, you're having a good year here? Dude, that's hard to do. You got to have that same argument. You have to, it's just, whether you love or hate them, you have to admit it's different in the Bronx. And yes, there's probably going to be more guys that fail than not because of ridiculous expectations in the way things are handled. But it has to be a part of the equation. It has to be a part of the argument, especially when you have guys that you feel like have somewhat comparable numbers. Like it or not, Judge and Ohtani, they're within a one WAR. So it's like, okay, we have to look into other factors. Okay, well, let's talk about where Shohei plays.
Plays out there with
season.
Mickey Mouse.
A lost season. So tell me how much pressure is on that. Tell me how many interviews he's getting when he has a bad game. Tell me how many interviews his manager is having about how close the division is. There's so many other factors when a team is in a playoff hunt and they're within reach of winning the division. Not to mention the pressure of falling on your face the last few months. There's more pressure on the Yankees. And who holds the most pressure? The best player. Tell me that isn't value. Please explain to me how that's not the most valuable player. The guy that holds the most pressure, the guy that's dealing with the most pressure in the most pressure-filled market during a walk year, playing out of position and trying to protect your team from absolutely imploding and embarrassing themselves. There isn't more pressure than that. Not this year. There isn't more pressure than that. So if you can perform under that, you're the MVP.
All right, so we've established where we stand on the MVP case. Let's switch gears here to the Triple Crown. All right, we talked about Paul Goldschmidt over in the NL making a case for Triple Crown over there. Aaron Judge, seemingly in the last week, it's been brought to everyone's attention that he's got a chance to do it in the American League. So looking at the numbers here, some of which we've already touched on, average is the only one that he's trailing in right now. He's third behind Xander Bogaerts, who's hitting .317, and then Luis Arraez, who's hitting .320, which I'm not necessarily rooting for a Yankee Triple Crown, but if Luis Arraez is also, he's already ruined other things this year because of just how well he hits. If he's gonna ruin a potential Triple Crown, I'm gonna be the biggest anti Luis Arraez guy in baseball. Home runs, we already talked about this, 57. The next closest in the American League is 35 for Mike Trout, and then ribbies, he's got 123. Next closest is Jose Ramirez is 111.
Yeah. The average thing is going to be tough. Because 310, man. And I think over the last couple weeks specifically, you've seen a lot of teams kind of work around him. You've seen a lot of teams just being like, all right, we're done. Like we're no longer going to let him beat us.
Well, not the Red Sox, because he did it twice in one game. So we clearly are not of that school of thought. So
yeah, I don't get that either. But yeah, I think the average thing is going to be tough. I think it is. Now I'll give him credit because he was hovering around like 295, 297 for a good like month. And then over the last few weeks, it's gone through the roof. But it has to be the combination of taking walks. And I think that's why he's tapped in. You know what I mean? It's just like he's okay taking his walks. And if he's putting the ball in play, good stuff is happening.
Yeah, I mean, credit to him for a guy that for years I just ragged on because it was a strikeout machine between him and Stanton. The fact that he's hitting 310 right now in a hunt for the Triple Crown, like that, got to give credit where credit's due.
He's still, to be fair, he's still going to probably end up with about 170 strikeouts or so. 165, 170 strikeouts.
And to be honest with you, I've dialed it back on the whole strikeout thing. Like, I know that was a big sticking point for me as well as you in terms of how we evaluate a player. Like, if a guy's just going up there night in and night out, 2-3 strikeouts a night, but he occasionally puts a ball over the wall. It's like that doesn't really move the needle for me.
Right.
I have dialed it back a little bit because I'm just like, if this is where the game's at, then I'm not gonna use that necessarily as a detractor for players. Like, if this is just how the game has evolved, I, as one person, I'm not gonna be able to change that. I'm not gonna, as much as I may want to go back to small ball and all that, like, I just can't fight it. So why use it against guys? And Judge is a big guy. He's got a big zone. He's gonna strike out. I acknowledge that. I'll admit that. But like I said, the fact that he's hitting 310 right now, credit to him. I do have one question for you. We talked about Paul Goldschmidt in the chase in the National League. Do you know the last time that there was a Triple Crown winner in both leagues?
In the same year, you mean?
Yeah, same year. You have no idea. I'm just curious to see how close you get.
I mean, it's not like any normal names, is it? It's way back in the day, huh?
Admittedly, I know one. I don't know the other. Maybe I should. I don't know because
let's go. I don't know. Let's go back to like Mickey Mantle. His era. Did he have one? I feel like he had a Triple Crown, right?
Did he?
Mickey Mantle?
Let's look that up.
Well, I'm wrong. Clearly wrong for this current question.
He did, yeah. 1956.
All right.
Hit 353, 52 home runs, and 130 RBIs.
Good Lord.
To say that eras can't compare, like, come on.
Yeah.
That plays.
Yeah, for sure.
You wanna throw a year at this guess?
1916.
Not terribly far off. It was 1933. The only time in history it's been done. Jimmy Fox. Both of these are Hall of Famers. And Chuck Klein. 1933.
Not overly familiar with Chuck Klein, but good for you guys. Yeah.
If that's why I was saying, like, I don't recognize the name, but maybe I should as a baseball fan. I don't know.
It'd be nice if we knew every Hall of Famer's name, but come on now. It's 80 years ago.
No, is that 90 years ago?
90 years ago.
That's 90 years ago. 1933. Holy cow, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, only time it's been done in history. The odds aren't looking great for this year. I'll give you that. Yeah. But this is as close as I can remember in recent memory.
I mean, yeah, at this point in the year, for Arias to fall 10 points, right? To even tie with Judge at 310 in the batting average category. I mean, at this
you
point,
you don't even necessarily have to fall 10 points, though. They could
someone's going to have to go up and someone's going to have to go down. I mean, Judge is going to have to continue to be ridiculous.
If they say they tied at 315, Judge gets the crown, right?
No, because I mean that decimal, it goes all the way. I mean it cuts off at 310, but I think that it's like there's still numbers to go at that point, so it's probably going to come all the way down to that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
You know,
that would make for a wild headline.
That would be wild. You have to go an extra decimal place to
determine the Triple
to
Crown
find it. Yeah. I do think, I mean, at this point, if we're not going to value batting average, I'm curious to see if it ever really changes for being in the Triple Crown requirement list. Do we change that to OPS?
Yeah, I could very much see that changing, and that's not me like wishing for it necessarily. I'm just saying, as a realist here, I can acknowledge that with the changes that the league so often makes, it's very plausible very feasible that would be something that they would do.
Yeah. What's the pitchers have their own?
Yeah, it's
Triple Crown.
Triple Crown, yeah.
That's with the wins, right? Are wins involved with that?
Isn't it
ERA,
wins,
strikeouts?
Yeah, I think so. Wins, ERA, strikeouts.
Again, so like I think it's if we're no longer going to value it or even really care about it, it's like, why don't we change that and then we can have more Triple Crown conversations?
I would much rather, if I had to choose, I'd much rather keep batting average than wins for a pitcher.
Agreed, for sure. What would you do for pitcher? I'd probably do innings. I think that'd be my vote.
Yeah.
Innings, ERA, strikeouts.
Give it to a horse.
Yeah. Love that. I'll write a letter.
Speaking of letters, you got a letter in the works, don't you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, guy. All right.
No idea.
Well, if a certain individual hits 3 more home runs, who shall remain nameless, I believe there's a letter in the works.
No idea what you're talking about.
Before we move on here, just want to get your thoughts real quick on Judge's comments about, quote, "We'll talk about that at the end of the year," end quote, in regards to possibly signing with the Red Sox. Let me ask you this. I'll give you a multiple choice question to make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is A, Aaron Judge being a professional and not wanting to talk about it? Do you think this is B, Aaron Judge and his camp using this as bait for a potential contract from the Yankees in the future because he wants to stay? Or do you think this is C, he just wants to get out of New York and doesn't care where it is?
I would argue it's probably a combination of A and B. I think, and I've kind of gone back on this a few times where I don't see him leaving. And I know that like there's a lot of fans that think he will. I don't see him leaving. Everything is built in. Everything is built in for him right here. And when you talk about like anything that happens at Yankee Stadium, when you talk about like Legends Day, Jeter coming back, any guy like Paul O'Neill getting their number retired, Judge is on the top step of the dugout every time. And I think he sees over and over again, Yankee legend. This is how you do it. These are multiple examples of how you can get into this category. Do you want 99 retired up on that wall someday? And I think he's just seeing it over and over again. And in my mind, it's like, if you go anywhere else, you got to almost start over. If you go anywhere else, you're going to lose some of that. We talked about this, the charm, right? He has that charm on his side of, I'm loyal, I'm professional, I show up every day. And there's something about that that it just seems like I can't really see him going anywhere else. Now, to answer your question a little more directly, between those A and B options, I think that was probably a conversation that was had at the beginning of the year once they said, boom, we're done. We're heading in through this year. We're going to hit the free agency market, right? He's being a professional because he's answering questions in the right way. He's getting into Jeter territory with this. And I'm sure he's also answering those questions to say, okay, well, I'm gonna still leave that ounce of doubt in the Yankees front office. I'm gonna leave that ounce of doubt in the back of their head saying, I could go. I could walk. So how are you gonna make up for that? The Yankees have to make up for this. They have to make up for the lowball offer. They have to make up for the season he's had. And they're going to have to make up whatever anyone else is able to offer. They have a lot of work to do. But to me, it seems like he wants to stay. That's the way it looks. Why else would you play out of position for majority of the year if you're going to leave? Because you have to admit, no team whoever signs him is not putting him in center field. He's playing center field this year out of necessity for the Yankees roster construction. And Aaron Hicks being an absolute misery. He's not going anywhere to play center field. So you can't say that he's doing this by adding, like he's not looking to add value. You know what I'm saying? He's taking this risk because he cares about this organization and he cares about his teammates. And this is what's best for the team. And you've got guys whispering in his ear like a CC Sabathia. You just posted it on our page. He's my little brother, right? And again, I'm not bringing up the MVP conversation, but I'm saying CC is open about playing in other places. And he's open about saying, when I got to the New York Yankees, that's where I wanted to be. And there's no other place like it. So I think he's got people that are whispering in his ear in Yankee camp saying, dude, this is the spot you want to be at. And you're already basically 1 foot in the door in Yankee legend conversation. Why would you leave that behind for a couple dollars?
It'd probably be a lot of dollars, but point taken.
A lot of dollars, but I don't see the difference being that big. You know what I'm saying? I don't see the Yankees stopping at $250 and then some other team putting $330 out there. You know what I mean? I'm sure if he does take any type of discount, it won't be by much. Because the Yankees already did bad. They already shot themselves in the foot with this.
Speaking of shooting yourself in the foot, let's talk about SeatGeek. Everybody say it along with me. It's the answer to all your ticket needs. Are you looking for tickets? You have plans with friends or family to make it to an upcoming game or concert, or are you even looking months ahead to nail down a date to get tickets before they sell out? With SeatGeek, you can find tickets to games, concert shows, and even theater performances with just a few easy clicks. We're making it even better for you if you're a first-time user. SeatGeek, next time you add some tickets to your cart, use our promo code 30TAKE. It's our social handle, THREEOHTAKE, at checkout to save $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user. It's all you got to do to save some of that.
One credit card swipe / tap.
A fraction of what Aaron Judge would fetch in free agency. Enter promo code 30TAKE. Again, that's our social handle at checkout.
Aaron Judge makes $20 in the time it takes you to brush your teeth, I think. It's like, oh, I just made $50.
No, Aaron Judge makes $20 in the amount of time that it takes for me to put the toothpaste on the toothbrush.
That's fair. It's probably better.
Or that's probably what he will get. Maybe I don't think that's what the Yankees feel he's worth.
No,
because apparently
the Yankees aren't getting him that right now. But
the Yankees feel he's worth. The Yankees feel he's worth far less than that.
They thought. They thought. They're just very much seeing that they're wrong.
If they were thinking, they wouldn't have thought that. Let's talk about Yadier, Molina, and Adam Wainwright. How about it? A tip of the cap. Before we get into the record itself and all that comes with that, I just want to say, and I don't know if I've expressed this before. I know I've made it very clear how I feel about Yadier Molina. I think I said on this podcast a number of years ago that if there was a guy that I wanted to build my franchise around, throwing age out the window, just based on the kind of player they are and what they bring to the field as a leader.
Right. Yeah.
And a professional, Yadier Molina is the guy I'm going with. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna change my mind on that. But the thing that I just absolutely love about this Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina story over the course of both of their careers is that it just paints such a beautiful picture of what baseball is. You got two guys that could not have come from different backgrounds.
Right.
You've got Yadier Molina from Puerto Rico, and you've got Adam Wainwright from, I even wrote it down, Brunswick, Georgia.
Yeah.
And they're like the best of friends and have done what they've done over, how many years has it been now? Like 17?
Yeah, I was going to say 18, 19.
Yeah,
probably.
this is Wainwright's 17th season.
Ooh.
And they've done this for as long as they've done it, and they've done it well. And they've done it as professionals. And to me, it just, I'm so happy for this duo.
Yeah.
To be able to do it before it was too late. The fact that Wainwright's still here, the fact that Yadi's still here, they wanted to stick it out. And the fact that Wainwright's having the year that he's having. Like, sure, you can look at Yadi.
For
it's like,
sure.
okay, but you at least know what you're going to get with Yadi.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this milestone means something different. If the Cardinals aren't having a successful year, if Waino isn't having a good year, it's just like this means something different. But for people who aren't really paying attention to this, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but the most injury-prone position, probably a pitcher, yeah. And I would say the shortest career length, average career length per position would probably come to catcher, right? Because it's like, if you're not getting it done, you're out. Also, your body is getting beat to shreds on a regular basis. So we're talking about arguably the two hardest positions in baseball.
Dude, when I went to the Orioles-Red Sox game at Camden, I saw, in one game alone, Adley Rutschman get beat up enough to the point where I was like, that would be it for me for like the month. I'm like, I'll see you guys next month. I need to chill out. And that was in one game. And Yadi's been doing this over the course of his entire career.
Yeah. I don't think people understand it. This is, we're witnessing another unbreakable record. Put this up there with Cal. For sure.
325th career start together on Wednesday night for Waino and Yadi, setting a major league record for most as a battery. Do you have any idea the record that they broke?
Of the battery? The other battery? Can I get a hint?
If you don't get this right, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
Really? It's that obvious?
Very obvious.
No hint, huh?
I can't. It's too easy.
It's that easy?
It's that easy. You don't need a hint for this.
Is it in my lifetime or no? Like, did I watch them play or no?
You did not.
No.
324 by this duo.
It's that easy? Is it? I'm going to be embarrassed? a little bit that it's taken this long, and I also have no idea.
You should be embarrassed.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Do you have some insight?
I don't know. Like,
I'll just tell you. Don't even guess.
Yogi and Whitey Ford. I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
The most obvious duo for the Detroit Tigers, Mickey Lolich and Bill Freehand from 1963 to 1975.
I hate you.
That's embarrassing. How do you not know that?
Mickey Bolich? Is that what you said?
Mickey Lolich and Bill Freehand. The most obvious duo that you could have considered.
Man, how did I miss that?
That's
right. I had Bolich in fantasy all the time for sure.
Yeah, back in '63. Yeah,
I was just having to read through the papers, get my stats.
Was a monster. Yeah. I thought it was cool. They asked Wainwright after the game, which I feel like if I were in his shoes, I would probably feel the same way. But he got in a jam in the first, which I think is when he gave up his only run last night. But he said I thought that I was getting out of it because we're supposed to win today. Usually I feel like we're going to get out of it anyways, but I really felt like I'm getting out of this because we're supposed to win today, and we did. And I'm just like, that's cool. Like,
I like that.
The baseball gods smiled upon St. Louis just for the night.
This
whole year they've been having a great year. Really,
a lot of cool stuff. I mean, you have 2 top 3 MVP guys. You have another guy about to reach an insane milestone. And then again, I don't see this ever happening again. Like, especially now that, like, of how we limit playing time, how we watch how catchers develop and how they eventually, start to get into a new position. You're talking both leagues in universal DH. This will never happen again.
Wainwright has thrown 2,136 of his 2,548 innings to Molina, which comes out to 83.8%.
That's so cool.
That's insane. This is just like the trivia episode. Do you know can you name the 6 current major league players who were active when they made their first start together? Joking aside, this should be more obvious.
What are you talking about? What do you mean made their start together?
When Wainwright and Molina made their first start together, who were the 6 current players that are active right now?
Oh, still playing?
Were also active then.
Okay. Pujols.
There's one.
Let's see here. Verlander.
There's 2.
Scherzer.
Not correct.
No? Not quite there, huh? You got some old guys in there.
It's a good guess, but not one of them.
Active right now. Joey Votto?
Nope.
It's got to be some other old guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nelson Cruz?
There's 3.
Charlie Morton?
No. But that's another old guy.
Not a bad guess, right?
There are a couple options that are comparable to that, I would say. Just to give you a slight hint to Charlie Morton in that stratosphere. At least in my head.
That stratosphere. Age-wise, or saying like league?
Yeah, just kind of
in that division.
I don't know. I can't explain it. It just makes sense in my head. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm struggling here. How many? 6?
You're missing.
Said total?
You're missing a first baseman.
First baseman that was
plays in the American League.
Not Rizzo.
No, definitely not Rizzo.
No.
Plays for the Tigers.
Oh, Miguel Cabrera, duh.
There we go. There we go. The face, the disappointment that just fell over your face.
That's so bad.
It was subtle, but it was strong. All right, that's 4. You got 2 more. 2 more pitchers.
2 more pitchers. Are they relievers or starters?
Starters.
Really? Okay.
Both of which, interestingly enough, have returned to teams this season for which they pitched. There's 5.
Return to teams.
This one's in your division.
In my division.
Yes.
AL East.
Correct.
Oh, what's his face? Oh, I see his face.
You can see it.
Old lefty for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Now, why am I spacing on his name? Oh, no. I see his face. I see his delivery. I see all of it. This is so annoying. Rich Hill.
There we go. All right.
All right.
Hey, look, I can laugh, but I'm not sitting there with the names in front of me. So, or you're not sitting there with the names in front of you, I should say. Yeah. So I can only judge so much. But yeah, all I have to say, tip of the cap to Yadier and Waino. This is awesome. And I really hope, with all of the storylines that the Cardinals have going for them right now, I hope they're able to do something with it in October. I really do.
I hope so too. I think I want it. We all need it for baseball, just to get like the little bit of, for our generation, to get these guys into that opportunity. I think it's good to see Pujols, Waino, and Yadier all in for another, definitely the last postseason run with them all in the clubhouse together. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
Need it. You know what else is fun?
Chewing gum?
Yeah. Not just gum, though. Shredded gum.
Chewing the gum. I had some last night. Busted out the OG. Popping bubbles with the best of them.
One of these episodes, I just want to chew Big League Chew the whole time and just see how long it takes before people to just fall off and just
2.5 minutes
end the episode.
Tops. Big League Chew, founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson, Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubblegum has become the #1 shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubblegum. Grab some gum and head to Big League Chew's social media channels, at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram. Also find them on TikTok to show off your Big League bubbles. You can also find a list of retailers or purchase any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. BLC, Big League Chew. The only gum you need, really. Also, BLC. That was a flawless ad read. Flawless.
That was props to you, sir. Props to you.
Clean.
That was very clean. Minor leaguers are now part of the MLBPA.
Perfect. Needed.
Union cards were validated on Wednesday. This new union will likely represent more than 5,000 minor league players.
Love that.
And I also read that it indicated it will bargain on behalf of players in the Dominican Summer League.
Love that.
Major League Baseball, to which I believe others may disagree. I believe this was all part of a PR stunt to try to repair some damaged relationships. Major League Baseball came out and said, Major League Baseball has a long history of bargaining in good faith with unions which is laughable right out of the gate, including those representing minor and major league umpires and major league players. We respect the right of workers to decide for themselves whether to unionize. Based on the authorization cards gathered, MLB has voluntarily and promptly recognized the MLBPA as representatives of minor league players. We are hopeful that a timely and fair collective bargaining agreement will be reached that is good for the game, minor league players, and our fans.
This was a must. This is a must-have. This had to happen. We've already pulled at this string so much, but I mean, minor league guys, they need better treatment. They need better representation. They need all of this stuff that you deserve for any job. I mean, McDonald's employees get better treatment, you know? So it's like this needed to happen. It was a smudge in the game for sure. And this was a must grab. So
yeah,
good for minor league guys.
I saw some banner. It wasn't necessarily recently. It was probably like 6 months to a year ago, back when people just were like, it was impossible to find employees to work because people just didn't want to work. I remember seeing some sign up on the window at McDonald's. It was like, we'll give you a free iPhone after 6 months of employment. It's like, these guys aren't getting free iPhones, and they're professional athletes.
Yeah. Yep.
Unreal. This was long overdue. And like I said, I think Major League Baseball just couldn't, they got to the point where they couldn't handle the backlash anymore.
Right.
Of people pointing out very glaringly the fact that they just don't take care of their product and they don't develop their product well enough.
Right.
Specifically in how it relates to minor league players.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, these guys have to be able to have sustainable life. They didn't have the minimum requirements for average living. You're talking about players being homeless, sleeping in their cars at home games because the only way you're sleeping in a bed is when you're traveling and you're in a hotel. Or, 6 to 8 guys sharing a 2-bedroom apartment. Stuff was an issue, and I mean, we've seen all the videos and posts of like what they're eating in the clubhouse. It's like, it's not good. It's not good. So I'm so glad that this is starting to get addressed and fixed, because these guys deserve at least that.
It just makes good business sense. Like, I'm not
Take care
some
of your
like
product.
multi-billion-dollar business owner here, but it just, to me, from the outside, it just makes good sense to like foster your product even at the earliest stages, so that then when the time comes, the product that you claim to care about the most and make it very clear that you care about the most is fully developed.
Yeah.
And fully prepared to bring you in even more than what you're making in a situation in which you don't prepare them. It just, to me, it just makes too much sense.
It kind of an odd analogy, but I was like kind of explaining to Paige the other day. I was cutting chicken. I was like cutting off the fat of like a chicken breast and stuff. And you saw like one of the blood vessels in there. So like cut that out. And she's like, why does that happen? And I was like, well, a lot of times when animals feel like stress right before they get killed, it like shows up in the meat. Like they exude all this stress and it just goes through that. So like, that's why the Wagyu steaks are so amazing, because those cows get treated like like
they come up from behind and shoot him in the head. They never see it coming.
They never see it coming. But those guys, I mean, those cows are listening to music. They're getting massages. Like they're getting good stuff, right? So I think it's just like it should reflect in the quality of the product. When you take care of your guys at that younger level, and you make sure they just have the basic, normal living necessities taken care of, where they don't have to stress about so much other stuff, they can just go out there and play baseball. I bet you're going to see a better quality.
Biggest takeaway from this segment, folks, we don't want our minor leaguers to show up to the big leagues with veiny blood vessels. That's
Exactly.
That's the big takeaway here.
We don't need to trim that out.
We don't
Treat them like Wagyu, baby.
Treat them like Wagyu. Minor leaguers, treat them like Wagyu. Before we wrap up with our weekend series preview, I feel like we can say farewell to the Marlins and the Reds, who have since been eliminated since last episode.
Good for the Reds on not being the last one.
You mean the first?
Like, or the first one to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them.
They were off to a horrible start.
What was it, 3-22?
Something like that. It was bad.
Good on the Reds for kind of straightening out the ship as best as you could with what you had. But shame on the Marlins, man. Like halfway through the season, you were in the hunt. I'm pretty sure I saw something today where it said they were 3 games back.
Yeah.
Halfway through the season.
Well, I again, Jeter leaving just kind of tells you what that mentality is there. And it's clear it's not all chips in the middle of the table trying to win. There's other stuff. There's other alternative motives over there. But they do have that rotation that is going to be a problem. As long as they can hold on to it, this team is going to do something in the next few years. It's Miami.
The Marlins.
Who doesn't want to go to Miami? What free agent are you going to struggle to get? Hey, come hang out in Miami. It's amazing here. What? Can't be that hard. Just get your rotation settled, lock them down, go get a couple free agents, and you'll be fine.
I think the toughest part of the Marlins situation this year is they officially lost you and I as their strongest ambassadors. Like, if you lose us, it takes a lot to lose us.
Good luck.
To lose our support, you must have really mismanaged the situation because we're no longer, I think at this point we're let's go Phillies or let's go Orioles or something, but not.
We've removed our stamp of approval.
Yeah, it's sad. Really sad. The last people that were in their corner.
Let's go O's sounds way better anyway.
Let's go O's. Let's wrap up with this weekend series preview here real quick. Speaking of O's, let's go O's. I've got my eyes on the O's and the Blue Jays this weekend. This is a very, very meaningful series in terms of the playoff picture. Game 1, we've got Austin Voth going up against TBA.
Oh!
Cy Young contention for TBA. Not Austin Voth. Austin Voth is 5-2 with a 4.36 ERA. Opponents hitting .231 off him. His last outing was 1 inning with no hits, no runs, no Ks, and 2 walks. I don't recall if it was like precautionary, but it seems as though looking at his numbers over the month of September and even a little bit before that, they've seemed to dial his innings back a little bit. So there must be a reason for that. Game 2, Jordan Lyles going up against Jose Barrios. Lyles is 10-10 with a 4.62 ERA. Opponents are hitting .285 off him. His last outing was actually the game that I was at. 3 2/3 versus the Sox. 8 earned runs on 7 hits, 1 K and 1 walk. Jose Barrios is 10-5 with a 5.07. Opponents are hitting .283 off him. Last outing against the Rays, in which he went 6 1/3, had 1 run on 6 hits, 4 Ks, and 1 walk. And then game 3, you got Kyle Bradish going up against Alek Manoah. Bradish is 3-6 with a 5.01. Bradish. It's one of the two.
I don't know. Is there 2 Ds or 1?
There's 1 D.
You might be right.
I'm not a betting man.
When you say Brad, it's only 1 D.
That's true. I'm not a betting man, but if I had to put money on it, I'm saying it's either Bradish or Bradish. If it's outside of that,
I mean, there's a slim chance it's Radish, but
the B is silent.
I've seen it before.
Radish is 3-6 with a 5.01 ERA. Opponents are in .281 off him. His last outing, 7 innings. Threw a gem. 7 innings versus Sox. 1 earned run on 2 hits, 3 Ks, and 2 walks. Alek Manoah going for the Jays is 14-7 with a 2.43. Opponents hitting 207 off him. His last outing, 6 2/3. Who did he go up against? I didn't even write it down. Shame on me. 6 2/3 versus one of the other 29 teams in the league.
I'm assuming Rays, yeah?
Yeah,
That's what Barrios went against. So.
Yeah, that sounds good. 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 5 Ks, and 2 walks. Offensively, I wanted to spotlight Gunnar Henderson, mix it up a little bit. 10 for his last 10 games entering Thursday. He's 10 for 35 with no home runs, 8 RBIs, and 9 Ks. Vladdy, his last 10 games entering Thursday, 11 for 46, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and 9 Ks.
All right. Good deal. All right.
And and like we talked about, tune into these series because we've had some.
We're telling you. We know.
I mean,
we
you guys,
know.
if you're not tuning in, you're missing something special because every series we tell you to watch, something happens. So just go ahead and save yourself the trouble.
Exactly. My matchup is going to be the game that I'll be at. Hello. Phillies visiting the Braves. I'll be at the game tomorrow night. And tomorrow night, Friday night, is going to have the middle name game is back, so you better not be looking. You're going to get a 5-second countdown from me to get a guess out there. You can list off as many guesses as you want.
By the way, it was Rays because I forgot. He had the stomach bug, if you remember hearing about that, and made it start anyway.
There's always something.
For Manoah.
There's always something. Game 1, Ranger J. Suarez. 5 seconds.
Jose.
You nailed it. You're cheating.
No, I'm not. I actually closed out the window, so go ahead.
All right, good. He is 9-5 this year, 3.62 ERA. Opponents are in 249 against him. Last time out against Washington, he went 6 2/3, 4 earned runs, 7 hits, 4 Ks, 1 walk. And he's going up against your no shot. Max D, as in dog, Fried.
Demetrius.
Nope.
Desclafani.
1. It is Dorian. Max Dorian Fried is 13-6 this year. 2.50 ERA. Opponents are in 226 against him. Last time out against the Mariners, he went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, no walks, 6 Ks. Game 2. You got Aaron M. Nola.
Michael.
Nailed it.
Mandy.
He is 9-11 this year. 3.31 ERA. Opponents are in 224 against him. Last time out against the Nats. I don't know what happened. I didn't look into this too much. I just wrote it down. He went 2 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, 2 Ks. I don't know, maybe got a little tweak, something like that. Pulled him out. I have no idea. You looking it up for me?
Yeah.
Should I keep going?
Yep.
Let me keep going.
Yep.
You're going to be able to, you can't multitask. You can't guess names and research.
Sure I can.
Going for the Braves is Jacob T. Odorizzi.
Thaddeus. Tyler.
2, 1.
Tankard.
0. Todd.
All of those are better than Todd.
You got Thaddeus before Todd. He's 5-5 this year.
Nola went into a rain delay. That's why he had
okay. That's what happened. Gotcha. Odorizzi is 5-5 this year, 4.15 ERA. Opponents are in 254 against him. Last time out against the Mariners, went a whopping 3 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 Ks, 3 walks. I'm telling you though, we watched that game, and that was the game of the year almost that we watched on Sunday. And he looked better than that. I got to give Odorizzi some credit. He looked better than that. That line doesn't read that way.
Yeah.
Game 3. For the Phillies, it's Bailey, can't find his middle name, Falter. He is 5-3 this year, 3.8 ERA. Opponents are in 252 against him. Last time out against the Marlins, he went 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts, and no walks. You won't be able to find it either.
Continue.
Going for the Braves is Spencer R. Strider.
Rasmussen, Randy, Richard, Ricardo, Raul.
Robert. Strider is 10-5 this year, 2.72 ERA. Opponents are hitting 186 against him. Yikes. And last time out against the Giants, he went 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 punchies. I think Strider is the real deal. I think we can all just address that.
Yeah.
The mustache is real. Also, what he's capable of on the mound is real. My offensive stars, I went a little bit different as well.
Could you make the argument that Spencer Strider's mustache could be last year's pearls?
Yes, absolutely.
You always need something in the postseason.
That mustache is
this
just
be it?
Prime time video right there. My offensive star for the Braves, I went with, I have no idea how to pronounce this middle name. It's Michael Harris. It starts with an M.
Michael.
It's Machion. Machion. That sounds kind of cool. Michael Machion Harris the second.
You didn't even give me a chance to guess.
You're gonna guess Machion?
I guessed Michael. I thought maybe he's Michael Harris.
Michael. That'd be cool.
Michael
throwback art. Shout out to Mama Reyes on that. I love that. Michael Macaroon Harris the second is 15 for his last 40. 3 jacks, 9 RBIs, 7 strikeouts. And this is a double middle name guy. Bryce A.M. Harper.
Aaron Michael.
You got one. You got Aaron.
Aaron Matthew.
Nope.
I don't know.
Max. Bryce Aaron Max Harper. 7 for his last 36. 2 jacks, 4 ribeyes, and 13 strikeouts. But we all know Bryce Harper. He lives up to the moment. This is a big series. I do not expect him to disappoint in any way.
Don't tell that to Braves fans. They would wildly disagree with you.
Big for the Phillies. Right? Kind of.
Just ask Braves fans how Bryce lived or didn't live up to the moment down the stretch last season. But hey, look, I'm a Bryce guy, so I'm not going to put that out there. That's for everybody else to discover and refresh themselves on. That's all I got. Unless you got anything else.
That's it. Look for me in the third deck tomorrow night when you're watching the Phillies and Braves game. It's going to be lit, and I'm probably going to be quite a few suds deep.
Yeah, so if you're going to be at the Braves game, even if you're not and you're in the area, go to the Braves game and make sure if you want to try and catch Nate, make sure to do it before the first pitch because
yeah, no promises after that.
At that point, it's a little too late.
Yeah. Love you guys. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.